Israel's military operation in the West Bank is rapidly escalating as Palestinian officials warn of a potential disaster. On Wednesday, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz announced a new offensive, dubbed Iron Wall, in the Jenin refugee camp, aimed at curbing what Israel describes as terrorism. The operation, which follows Israel's recent experience in Gaza, seeks to target militant infrastructure and prevent terrorism from resurfacing in the area. Katz emphasized that the operation would be a forceful step in eliminating terrorists and their networks, noting that lessons from Gaza's repeated military raids were being applied to the West Bank. The operation was launched shortly after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration of a large-scale military initiative in Jenin, which quickly became a focal point of growing tensions. In the days following the announcement, devastating images of wreckage, broken concrete, and damaged infrastructure began circulating. Palestinian authorities described hospitals that were under siege and entire neighborhoods cut off from essential services. With the operation continuing, there is mounting concern that the damage in Jenin could mirror the catastrophic destruction seen in Gaza, raising fears of a man-made disaster. The death toll continues to rise in the West Bank, with at least 851 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces since the October 2023 Hamas-led attack on Israel. Israeli forces, including both military and settler units, have intensified their raids, particularly in areas like Jenin. Just this week, 9 more Palestinians were reported dead, including a 4-month-old baby injured by shrapnel. Meanwhile, the conflict continues to escalate on the broader scale. Iranian officials, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, warned that resistance to Israel would persist as long as what they describe as repression continues. This rhetoric underscores the ongoing regional volatility, with Israel's Defense Forces, IDF, intensifying efforts to target what it calls terror infrastructure. On the ground in Jenin, the situation is increasingly dire. Mayor Mohammed Jarrar described the military operation as the most intense in recent months. Residential neighborhoods have been sealed off, and access to hospitals has become nearly impossible. Dr. Wissam Bakr, director of Jenin Hospital, spoke to CNN about the dire conditions, noting that no one could enter or leave the hospital, and that several medical staff had been injured by gunfire. Jarrar warned that the ongoing operation could lead to a humanitarian disaster of the scale seen in Gaza. He called on the international community to intervene, describing the potential destruction of the refugee camp as an unthinkable loss of life. This sentiment is echoed by aid organizations on the ground, such as Medical Aid for Palestinians, who described life in the West Bank as akin to being trapped in an open-air prison. Amid this growing unrest, the Palestinian Authority has accused Israel of collective punishment and violating international law by escalating its military actions. There are also fears that Israel's broader goals involve consolidating its control over the West Bank, including through the annexation of parts of the territory, a view voiced by some Israeli officials and right-wing politicians. As the situation continues to develop, the conflict between Israel and Palestine remains at a boiling point, with no clear resolution in sight. The mounting toll on both sides of the divide serves as a reminder of the deep-rooted and unresolved tensions that define this ongoing struggle.